When I've been alone for a long time, I start to feel like I can deal with not being alone. I miss the things that come from relationship, companionship, friendship. I miss them. And I want nothing more than to immerse myself in someone else's life, changing my life until some point is reached where I start to feel like I need to be alone again, that I miss it, that I miss sleeping by myself or just doing my own thing without having to check it's okay or compromise or agree. The pendulum has swung back the other way, and this has happened enough times so that my life essentially changes completely enough times for me to see a pattern, but I don't yet seem to have the ability, perhaps a bit more so now, but certainly I'm not there, where I am content as I am. That actually it makes more sense that I am mostly alone, perhaps even almost entirely alone. And then if there are random moments, unexpected moments of companionship or friendship, there is no attachment. They don't have to last. They can come, they can go. The solitude, the sense of myself isn't touched. I don't know if I could ever experience that. I think I have had moments where I have been more complete, and I've certainly had moments when I've been far less complete. There's this aspect of me that seems to come and go, that is never stable. I'm unstable. There's nothing solid about me. I am a collection of experiences, ideas, memories, loves, joys, pains, laughter, tears. I'm just a collection of all of this stuff that has happened to me, that I have experienced, that I don't anymore, or very rarely. And I have to be okay with that, because that is how it is. That I don't seek out, attempt to do those things that might elicit something like that, because I know if I do, I might find something. It's possible. I might even enjoy it for 5 minutes. But I have a tendency to commit into something, to jump into the deep end and figure out how to swim. And then I find that I am swimming, but I don't really want to be in the water anymore. But I have to swim now, because that's where I am. Suddenly, the edges of the swimming pool are far away, too far for me to ever get back to. I have to continue to swim in the direction that I am now going in, which may be the same as someone else's, and I've actually jumped into their pool. I can't have anybody jump into my pool, because they wouldn't know in which direction I'm going in. They wouldn't be able to align with me in a way that would make sense. I seem to have the ability to align with another temporarily, longer or shorter, but it's always temporary. And at some point, unexpectedly, I didn't realize it was going to happen. I didn't even see it coming. Suddenly, I'm not aligned with them anymore. As if the dream that I had fallen into, not realizing that it was a dream, ends. Like all dreams, you wake up And then you remember who you are. And when that happens, I don't know how to reconcile it. I don't know how to adjust to how I am, who I am, in this situation, where previously I had somehow been able to. It doesn't make any sense to me. But there is no point in going around the same circle and expecting a different outcome. That's got to be the sign of madness. I have to do it differently if I want a different outcome. And the thing that provides the least trauma, the way of living that provides the least effect on others in a negative sense, is for me to keep away, to be alone, to not be a part, to just work on personal growth without relationship complicating things. Even if it's fun, to love and enjoy and feel the deliciousness of connection and interaction and closeness and intimacy, all of which are wonderful in their moments, for me, ultimately are not sustainable, because I'm not sustainable as the person who is in that moment experiencing those things. He is a construct. So the only way to deal with that is not to create a firmer, more substantial construct with greater roots and better foundations, but to remove the construct entirely, to take it back to the ground, to level it out, to have no structure on there at all, to just be. In theory, it sounds great, but what's that like in practice? I have to be somewhere. I am somewhere. I could say it's not ideal, but is anywhere ever ideal? It is always a compromise, an adjustment, doing what I like, accepting things I don't like, but they're part of my experience. And if I always try to run away from things I don't like to find only things I do, I will never find anywhere I can be, because I don't know that such a reality exists. Even when I feel I have found perfection, heaven, which I've had moments of, that in itself starts to become the very cause of the discontentment if it goes on too long, simply because it seems that life is all about challenges. And if I find myself in a situation where I feel I'm not being challenged, sooner or later that changes, and I am, even from the very thing I sought in the first place. So it still comes back to this concept that I have come across called circumstances don't matter, only state of being does. That if I can accept that the circumstances I experience are simply circumstances I experience, but meet them with a good state of being, a good state of mind, naturally attracting vibrationally something that changes it in a way that could be good, rather than always having to figure out what it is I'm going to have to do and how I'm going to have to do it. Planning and calculating and figuring and logic and what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What would be better? Should I do this? Should I do that? I can't do those things anymore. I can imagine certain possible futures, but I can't force myself to get them. I can't insist that those are the outcomes I experience. The only thing that makes sense to me is to imagine certain things, see how it feels when I do, and then let it go. And just be in the present carry on carrying on, be open, be ready, be aware, be conscious, and take it from there and see what happens. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else makes any sense. I mean, where else would one find peace but in this moment? And peace is what matters to me. It can't really matter what are the circumstances that bring it. If I have it, that's all that matters. And yet the circumstances may yet change as a result of the feeling that comes from that peace, without having to insist on what it now looks like.